Okay, guys, what the hell is happening in this goddamn world, okay? Now, GameSpot has been quite the meme in the last couple of years, but it is the mother of all memes of 2020, and this is some crazy shit.
Excuse me for 1 second. Of course.
4,000 shares and a half ATS.
Really 15,000? Head by all. I'm pooped. Good Lord, what is happening in there?
GameStop. Play, trade, save, repeat.
Now, the Reddit versus the Wallstreet whole saga is evolving quick. I originally thought I was going to cover this yesterday, but then I thought, this story is evolving so quickly, I probably should wait until the dust settles and do a complete story on it. But it's changing too much, there's too much shit going on, I don't think we're actually going to be seeing any end to this anytime soon, so I wanted to cover it today for y'all.
Martin, you're up $1 million.
Yes! It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Let's get into it, okay? Now, it's about gaming, but not really. It's also about the memes. Speaking of memes, have you heard about Dogecoin? Check that shit out. This video is sponsored by Dogecoin. Not really, but there's no one in this room that has invested in Dogecoin. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe check it out, guys. Anyway, where do we start? Okay, that's the real question. Where do we start with all this? Now, GameStop, of course, has been quite the meme, as I said, for several years. It has had a very rough time, especially in the last 4 years. With the digital age approaching, more and more people are not going to GameStop to buy more and more games. And GameStop is actually really feeling the pinch of this. On top of this, of course, it doesn't have the best relationship with the actual consumer. And of course, the pandemic has hit, which further pushed them into desperation by even trying to stay open and saying they're an essential service by selling mouses and keyboards, which of course further pissed people off. So on all fronts, it doesn't look good for GameStop's future. Until recently, of course.
Dark fire will not avail you. Flame of Udon!
Now, if we look at this graph for GameStop stock, since March 2016, it was trading around $30 US. Up until about March 2020, it had gone all the way down to $4 US. Just showing that every year it continued to go further and further down because it wasn't really competing with a digital marketplace. It was getting less relevant. It was becoming like the Civic Video, the Blockbuster of gaming, and they knew this, and they've been doing all sorts of desperate measures to try and actually combat that, but it hasn't been working. And Wallstreet and hedge funds knew this in terms of GameStop's current health as a company and what the future projections look like. So Wallstreet hedge funds, they wanted to make a bet. They wanted to make a bet because they thought they were so smart they could outsmart everyone and make billions. Well, Reddit was not going to let that happen.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Now, I'm sure in the last 48 hours you guys have heard a lot about what a short is, so I might not really go into the detail there. I'll leave a link in the description, shows the definition and show how it actually works. I'm sure you guys know what a short is now. And when a Reddit group called Wallstreet Bets got a hold of this information, in terms of knowing that the hedge funds wanted to short the stocks of GameStop, they thought they'd do a counter-offensive and try and push the price up of GameStop. And sooner rather than later, this actually began to snowball, and a lot of people got involved. And the price of GameStop actually started going into stratospheric heights compared to what we actually had seen only at the start of Jan. We'll get to the actual figures in a moment. But it's important to mention that the actual Reddit group was taken down for a day or so because there was hate speech on it or some garbage like that. They were really just trying to shut the Reddit group up. In the meantime now, it has actually been reinstated. You now can go, at the time of this recording, back to Wallstreet Bets. The Reddit forum is up, but apparently the Discord server is still taken down. So when the price began to rise, a lot of these hedge funds, they were already in deep, and they thought, that's okay, it's going to turn around. It's going to be all good. We'll stay in here and just see when this thing turns around. At the time of this recording, while the markets are closed, the price is $346 US. At the start of Jan, it was only $17. And as the price continued to go up for GameStop, all these hedge funds started losing billions of dollars. You can just see now the power of Reddit, it's pretty damn strong. And it doesn't stop there. Robinhood, one of the largest retail spaces in the US, where the average Joe can actually invest in stocks, had ceased trading on Robinhood for certain stocks like GameStop, AMC and the like, which had the entire internet blowing up over this. Because for a lot of people, it was a clear statement that Robinhood was going to side with big banks, hedge funds, and big money over the average investor, especially when they're called Robinhood, steal from the rich, give to the poor. I don't know about that.
So that was a fucking lie.
Big names like Ted Cruz agreeing with AOC, which doesn't happen often, on holding Robinhood accountable for these actions and demanding answers as to why the halt occurred only fueled the fire. At this point, we've got Reddit, Twitter, people in general, big names on Twitter also voicing their opinions about the actions of Robinhood and how this is all going down, with a lot of people now very interested to see how this actually plays out. I mean, for a lot of people, it wasn't even about the money, or it wasn't even about the memes anymore. It was bigger than that.
It's not about money. It's about sending a message.
And since all this blew up, Robinhood felt the pressure, big time. They came out just recently, about an hour or two ago when I was recording this, with a statement. Starting tomorrow, we plan to allow limited buys of these securities. The company said we'll continue to monitor the situation and may make adjustments as needed. And with this buying frenzy occurring, with more and more people wanting to pour in and buy stock, some wanting to make money, some wanting to send a message, the pressure was on for Robinhood, but it was also on for hedge funds. They need to make a decision. Are they going to stick to it? Are they going to close their positions? And some have begun to do that. Melvin Capital Management is one of those that closed its positions. Melvin Capital has repositioned our portfolio over the past few days. We have closed out our position in GME, GameStop, the spokesman said in a statement. The losses for some of these hedge funds is in the billions. I've seen figures thrown around, 4 million, 2 million, some of them 5 billion, if not more. This has been a devastating day to short the stock of GameStop. And this is after Melvin Capital was actually thrown a lifeline a few days ago to try and stay in the race in shorting GameStop, but of course they still needed to bow out of the race. Earlier this week, prominent hedge funds Citadel and Point72 Asset Management extended a $2.75 billion financial lifeline to the fund. People familiar with the fund said it lost almost 30% in the first 3 weeks of January. So even with this lifeboat, they still needed to get out because they obviously looked at the coming days, if not coming weeks, and knew it was not a good idea to short GameStop.
There's a Botched.
Let's see if it pays off for them.
There's so much to the story. I've really tried to give you the big chunks of it so you kind of understand what's going on. Again, a lot of you may already know what's going on. A lot of you already know what shorting is, but I just wanted to put it all together for you as much as I could. And it's important to also mention there's probably going to be a lot of things that change between me actually editing this and getting this out there. But again, trying to give you a snapshot. But aside from the actual gaming aspect to this is a really big deal on a bigger scale. I mean, many people are angry at the blatant hypocrisy which is actually happening on Wall Street and big hedge funds that are crying that the game isn't in their favor right now. So they want it regulated, or they want government measures to be put in place to stop this happening or continuing, when this is the very same practice that allows them to make so much money off people's misery when they buy stocks. Mums and dads buy stocks and it doesn't go in their direction. These are the people that make all the money. Like, it's just crazy to hear any talk about the moment they start not winning the game, it's we are the victims here. Nonsense. The system itself is now being put under a bit of a microscope, since the average Joe can have a real and seismic effect on the big bankers and Wall Street execs that have made billions in the past. But now the tables really seem to be turning, and they seem to be making some sort of precedent. It's going to make a lot of these hedge funds and Wall Street execs start respecting the power the actual average Joe really has when they have a common goal and they are unified in getting behind that goal and pushing forth with it. And the last thing I'll say is cryptocurrencies also had a bit of a spike in the last day or so, because a lot of people are seeing the fragility of the system as well as asking basic questions around what kind of regulatory powers governments have over stocks and financial systems in general, and don't necessarily apply to Bitcoin. I mean, yes, Bitcoin can be regulated, but certainly to a lesser degree. And I think a lot of people are seeing that, again, from the fragility of this situation. And that's why a lot of people are looking at cryptocurrencies, especially in the last 24 hours. So GameStop has been a catalyst for change. And I think it may be an interesting precedent now that has been set. And I think in the future now we are going to be seeing some fundamental changes. And one of the most important things that it's shown is the unified, organized force of the internet or Reddit or whatever. That can be a really powerful force. And as I said, I think that, you know, Wallstreet and hedge funds in general are going to respect the average Joe a lot more when they do feel like they are a consolidated, unified effort to try and take them on. But guys, that is it for today. I'm sure you came to a gaming channel to talk about stocks and cryptocurrencies and all this kind of stuff. But I do like talking about this stuff. I appreciate you guys being here. I will be back tomorrow with some more memes and news if there's some. I will see you guys next time. Lemon out.